I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 149, Quake 64. Released in 1998, this game was developed by ID Software and published by Midway. Now here's a game that needs no introduction, although I'm writing this intro anyway. Quake was initially released on the PC in 1996, and this is a port of the game to the N64. At least among people who are into video games, they've definitely at least heard of Quake. I remember playing Quake 2 on my uncle's PC when I was like 5 years old, and he wasn't even really a gamer. It kinda feels like Quake as a series has basically disappeared these days, although there is definitely still a dedicated community for the multiplayer. Who knows, maybe we'll see some modern Quake games coming out in the future, as Doom has definitely had a successful resurgence. Anyway, let's get into it. The game has a single player story mode, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. It immediately loaded into level 1, the Slipgate Complex. No story or anything like that, just right into it. It showed me I could jump on ledges as well as some info about secret areas. All I had for weapons to start were a shotgun and an axe. Lots of enemies were around even in this first area, like this dog that wouldn't quit rolling around. The movement's quite fast paced, and as far as platforming goes, it's really smooth. Various items can be found on the ground like ammo and health, and there will be more or less depending on what difficulty you're on. I was on normal. Up an elevator in this level, I found my first new weapon, the nail gun. It really just functions as a machine gun, but shooting nails sounds way cooler. And even later, I found an item called a biosuit. This allows me to safely swim in the poison water. Usually finding one of these leads to a secret area. In this particular one, there's body armor and more health than anyone could ever need. Really, this level's very forgiving and probably to allow the player to get a feel for how the game works. There's nothing all that dangerous, and I beat it easily. When you finish, it shows a stats screen with your clear time, how many enemies you killed, and how many secrets you found. Then it instantly dropped me into level 2, and there was a rather large enemy with a chainsaw. This one took noticeably more shots to kill over the others. In the next room, I found the double barrel shotgun. It's the same as the normal one, but it fires 2 shells at once. More damage, but it goes through ammo twice as fast. The controls are really nice. You can customize them however you'd like, but the default I went with was similar to GoldenEye's scheme. Move forward and backward with the joystick, look left and right with the joystick, and strafe with the C buttons. Holding R allows you to aim freely. A lot of times, the secrets involve seeing a nice juicy item just out of reach. Here, hitting this hidden switch creates a staircase for me to retrieve the body armor. Usually the way to progress in levels is finding keys to open doors. It might be impossible to progress anywhere until it's found, activating some sequence for more of the level to open up. Not to mention the actual door the key opens. It's very common to be greeted by a bunch of evil guys as soon as you open them. Like this door, it takes 5 years to open up, then a demon thing ran out that I'd never seen before. My goodness, it almost killed me with full health and armor. Aside from that one enemy, there wasn't anything that tough here, and I beat this one easily as well. Now it was on to level 3, the Necropolis. Right away I obtained a grenade launcher. This thing is super strong, but it's a bit risky. If you're too close to the enemies you shoot, then you take quite a bit of splash damage. Still though, it's really good to get used to. There were now these flying things that shot fire projectiles at me. It was also the first noticeable sign of the frame rate dropping, which was a bit frustrating. So I fell down from a ledge where there were all these zombies in the water. They were launching blood at me or something, and they're just so annoying. I didn't realize why it felt like there were infinite of them at the time. Next, I went into a building where I found a switch. Oh, this should open a door or something, right? Nope. It rammed me into the wall, nearly killing me instantly. Yeah, and after that mess, I got killed by a zombie. First death of the game. When you die, it takes you all the way back to the start of a level. On the PC version, you could save during a mission, but not on here. I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and music. The graphics are okay. I mean, it's a port of an ancient PC game, so I guess you can't expect too much, but it's annoying that the game lags. It's also super dark, but I think that's intentional just as the design of the game or whatever. The music is mostly atmospheric. You barely even notice it, and I think it fits the theme of the game quite well. We don't need aggressive rock music like a Duke Nukem has or something like that. So then I found another room with a switch and it locked me in. When I pressed it, the ceiling slowly raised down and I thought, oh great, another trap. But it opened up just before squashing me. It kinda was a trap though, because at the top of this elevator were two jumping demon things that really messed me up. I had no clue how to deal with them. I love how when you die it gives you a sarcastic message about how you just got wrecked. I was eviscerated by a fiend. Thanks, game. My next time fighting those things, I ran backwards while strafing, kind of in an arcing pattern. This made all their attacks miss, so it was quite easy. That level was the first real challenge for me. Level 4 was called Gloom Keep. There was a room near the start with this really annoying big guy launching grenades at me, hiding up there in his little tower where I can't reach him. This whole area was just quite rough. Past him were another two fiends, and I got eviscerated once again. It was hard to tell if I was even hitting that guy in the tower. It's mostly worth just ignoring him, I think. While normal difficulty does give a bit of access to ammo pickups without finding secrets, it's still not perfect. It's worth memorizing how many hits an enemy will take with a specific weapon to conserve your ammo as much as possible. Into the next area, I found the legendary rocket launcher. Oh man, I can do rocket jumps now. Well, maybe if I don't get squished by a giant spike from the ceiling. I'm not good enough to do it, but the Quake games have a tech that high-level players do where they jump and shoot a rocket underneath themselves. The recoil from it would make them jump way higher than normal and you could reach super high areas. Man, just on level 4 alone, the game was getting even more insane. So many of these big guys that launch grenades, it's tough to avoid. So this is kind of an issue I have with these old shooter games. It's cool that you're rewarded for exploring and finding secrets, but usually finding those secrets turns a really rough level into something more manageable. There was an item that just flat out doubled my health hidden at the start of this. I don't know, I'm sure people who played lots of these love this stuff, but it's a bit frustrating to me personally. Past all that previous stuff, I was walking along a narrow pathway with some pushers. Naturally, I screwed it up, and not only did I take damage, but it dropped me into a pit with some fiends right in my face. These old games are so trolly, I swear. I found the super nail gun in a room after that. It's just like the double shotgun in that it uses ammo twice as fast. Then there was a portal that dropped me on a key and some massive Yeti demon thing was trying to kill me. Honestly, it was a bit underwhelming. All it did was shoot lightning that did little damage. It's quite a rough one, but I did finally get through this level. Of course, not before sniffing out this secret wall to take some armor with me to the next one. Now we're on to the door to Chthon. I think that's how you say that. Then I saw a room filled with lava and a nice juicy key on the other side. Trying to jump was an incredibly bad idea. This level was just constantly trying to lead me into bad scenarios. There was a full body armor just chilling in the middle of the room. Can't possibly be suspicious, right? Except the walls opened and some of those guys were launching grenades at me. This led to an area with lots of lava, then a narrow hallway. I turned around to see a wall covered with spikes slowly moving towards me. Thought for sure, oh, this is the end, but no, a passage opened up. That was close. This brought me to a teleporter to the start of the level, and now there was a bridge going to the gold key. I think all the buttons with Quake symbols on them were what added the bridge. One of those fiend enemies was right behind me, but luckily it was too stupid to know how to get across. Through the gold key door, there were two dudes who instantly blew me up, and I had 15 health. The devs were forgiving and gave me a lot to pick up in the next room. There was a Yeti after that, then the end of the level. Apparently I missed all 4 secrets, whoops. After the door to Chthon, it was the House of Chthon. It was a huge open room full of lava. There was a floating thing called a rune. Once I picked it up, I'm assuming that's Chthon that popped up. A huge red demon thing launching lava balls at me. Also, I died nearly instantly. Since that went so poorly, I explored the room instead of grabbing that thing. I noticed some switches that brought these pillars down from the ceiling. Maybe I gotta like squish this guy or something. For now, I was trying to shoot rockets and strafe to hide behind the wall, and yeah, that strat sucked. I was pretty stumped. Then I found a different switch that activated electricity between the 2 pillars. It seems I need to shock this dude. So I basically had to speedrun pushing down the pillars, then zapping the boss. I did this, but whatever this is happened. Oh. Oh, whoa! That was an excellent rocket jump there, Chthon. Beautifully executed. Anyway, I zapped him 2 or 3 times and he just kinda died. Bit underwhelming if you ask me. I guess it's more of a puzzle than a boss fight. So that was all there was to do. I dropped down a huge hole, went through a portal, and then I got the aggressive death animation I wanted. That's better. It actually gives a bit of lore here saying we have the Rune of Earth magic. We've conquered the dimension of the doomed, the realm of Earth magic. There's a magic rune at each end of Quake, and I need to grab all 4 of them. Oh snap, so that's my goal in this campaign. Now it was time for the Ogre Citadel. Basically a castle with a drawbridge and a moat. Annoyingly, I lost all my weapons I had gained from the previous missions. I guess because we're in a new chapter now? I moseyed my way through the moat, and behind a fake wall was some nonsense spam. Just so many enemies in this area. And of course, I don't have any of my good weapons. It also got pretty laggy. I wonder how this game performs compared to an average PC of the time period. Thankfully, I found a double shotgun after running past a bunch of dudes. It was really rough. Of course, I lost it all when going up a spiral staircase and being instantly blasted by a grenade. Sure love when that happens. Later, there was this room with one of those Yeti dudes. This wouldn't be so bad, but I was just constantly running out of ammo. I finally ended up finding something super awesome, the quad damage power-up. It does exactly what you think. Increases my damage by 400%. You basically one-shot everything, although here you can see it didn't matter because I got squished by a corner? I think that was a glitch. God, I was getting so frustrated with this one. I figured I had seen it all, but nope, a fiend landed on my head and got stuck there. After like 15 deaths or so, I found a path where I dropped slowly from a window. This gave me full armor along with full health. Oh my god, I needed that so bad. I made it to a room with a narrow platforming path, and I'm so glad I didn't fall. That was the end of the level. Good grief. Next was the Crypt Decay. There was a new type of enemy early on, some dude wearing a suit of armor that shoots fire and has a sword. Reminds me of those Daedra soldiers in Oblivion. By now, I had realized I needed to kill zombies with an explosion for them to fully die. That's why it felt like they were infinite in an earlier level. So this level had a central hub over water that connected the various segments of it. Down one of these paths was a rather suspicious looking set of spikes in the walls. Not sure if you can avoid taking damage there. Also, grabbing the gold key was obviously a trap, too. Past the gold key door, I was blasted by a ton of grenades. Looking back, I really sucked at strafing, cause I'm just standing there in this clip, but whatever. Can't rewrite the past. After that was a Yeti guy, and I was toast. Man, I hate replaying entire levels. Oh hey, I did learn to dodge those spikes, just bait them out, real easy. This time around, I found a secret under the hub area with a red armor, giving me 200 all at once. It becomes so much easier if you just figure out where all the hidden stuff is. So this time around I was much more careful in that area, kiting backwards with the grenade launcher. Still though, I somehow managed to screw it up. This game would be so much easier on mouse and keyboard. I'm blaming the controller. Third time was the charm and I got through. However, I was on 20 health with no armor. Not good for next level. The next one was called the Wizard's Manse. Luckily for me, there were health pickups in a safe room right away. We got lucky there. It didn't help too much as I got wrecked nearly right away. Then I found a secret that gave me a rocket launcher right as I pressed the shoot button, so I blew myself up. It was going really well so far. Once I quit dying, I was actually within the Wizard's Manse. Is that short for mansion? Basically a vertical arena with several open rooms like this one. I found a quad damage in the water in this rather blue looking room. This was quite awesome because I could shoot these big guys with a shotgun from far away and it didn't even matter. I managed to find a new weapon in this level too, the Thunderbolt. Just a big electric beam to melt everything I see. Somehow I didn't die when I got ambushed by those fiends either. Nor did I die when I didn't notice my biosuit running out of air. So this had an interesting platforming section. I know some of these old FPS games actually started out as platforming engines, so it's kinda cool to see this. Finally at the top, I found an elevator. Imagine my surprise when it continued going down and went underwater. What the heck, man? I thought I was going to drown there. Not cool. I thought I was finally at the end after this, but there was a small surprise waiting for me on the other side of this door. You know, I honestly should have seen this one coming, but yeah. Don't shoot the thunderbolt when you're in the water. Oh my god, this level was so long. I did not want to repeat it. Anyway, next time around I got past that ambush and it was indeed the end of the level. Only like a 20-minute setback or so. No time to waste, on to the dismal oubliette. That sounds like a fun time. Especially when you blow yourself up with a grenade launcher. A new enemy was introduced here, the Vor. Looks like a demon combined with a spider. AKA the thing chasing me in my nightmare where I can't run very fast for some reason. They're pretty tanky and launch these slow-moving projectiles that explode. There was another one of those platforming sections in this one, but this time there were a trillion bad guys waiting for me at the top. No idea how I escaped that one. I have no idea why I died here. I get I'm not the greatest at this game, but come on, that was super unfair. Aw geez, this mission was one that frustrated me. This stupid ogre just appeared right behind me. I think it was teleporting in, and that's just unfair. They did that same nonsense in Duke Nukem. Anyway, all that area was to hit a button that made the bridge in the center area change paths. There was an elevator here that got me trapped in the corner with two enemies. Literally couldn't move, so I got pretty lucky. Remember when I got hit by that grenade from out of nowhere? Yeah, I had to backtrack to search for health, and it happened again. Holy crap, man. I was over these dumb deaths. I was trying to figure out where this guy above me was shooting me from, and yeah, squished by the elevator. If you so much as get a couple pixels into a ceiling, you insta-die. Oh, then that guy teleported in behind me yet again. I was getting so salty at this point, and I wanted out of this level. Dude, again, that's so stupid. That is so stupid. What do I do? Finally making some progress, there was a Vor guarding a room around a corner. This time I just went to the other side and spammed grenades until I was sure it was dead. I did not want to have to redo this. So I completed that area, and now I could go to the final bridge segment in the center. There was a zombie hung up on the wall that caught my attention. It did its job perfectly because I didn't notice the Vor behind me and I nearly died. This began a segment with the slowest moving elevator of all time. Every now and then some enemies would spawn, like these zombies that landed right on my head. I was running on fumes, but the elevator stopped, revealing a fake wall. On the other side was a Vor that blew me up. Oh god, this game had been slightly hard, but this mission stepped it up so much, I just could not get out. Next time I made it there, I had more than enough health, like it wasn't even close. I got a black magic rune past here, and then there was the portal to end it. Finally! Oh, that explains why this was so hard. Instead of another boss fight, they just put a super hard regular level to get the second rune. We get a bit more lore here about how the rune of black magic is evil and putting dark thoughts into my brain. We learn about the most evil enemy of them all, the mother of all demons, Ol' Shubby. She has previously been invulnerable, but we learn that with all 4 runes we can reach her lair. Anyway, time for Termination Central. Thankfully they gave me a double shotgun right off the bat. And now I'm killing other people for some reason. Thought we were just killing demons and stuff, but whatever. These guys were just shooting lasers at me, but they took very few shots to kill. It was really a nice change of pace after the last one. It's just a futuristic looking area rather than looking like I'm walking through the underworld. I didn't even realize I was at the end. It just looked like a random panel, but apparently that took me out. Didn't get any of the 5 secrets though. Next was the Vault of Zen. Right away I thought I saw the next rune, but it lowered away from me. Then some zombies spawned behind me. This one featured a surprisingly high amount of lava. Just looks like I'm inside some building, but they've got lava problems here. I found what was actually a key, not a runestone. Dang. The door it opened was like a maze with skulls all along the walls. Zombies everywhere too. In this maze was a pit with what I will now call by its proper name, the Shambler. No, really, that's what the Yeti enemy is called. They called it a Shambler. There was a gold key down with it. Through the gold door was the portal to the end of the level. Another mostly easy one. Nice. Then we had the Tomb of Terror. Again with this lava. At least it adds some color to the dullness of these areas, and some lighting. Some hallways brought me to a large room filled with lava. Honestly reminds me of those rooms in Shadow Man where you get a tattoo upgrade. These bridges extend to allow me to reach the other segments, eventually taking me to a portal. There was a bridge over lava with like 1 trillion nails being shot, and I just see no way to avoid that. Honestly, this level was kind of unremarkable. I killed every enemy and there wasn't really any danger. I'll take another easy one. So now we're moving on to Satan's Dark Delight. There was a hole in the ground full of water. Kinda like the water temple. I encountered a new enemy down here, just a mean fish. Why is it trying to kill me? Come on. There was a section where I got on a moving platform, but it seemingly took me to a dead end, and that's not super helpful. There was a switch way out in the distance that changed the platform's path when I shot it. This led to a room with blood everywhere, and somehow I didn't die the instant I stepped into it. For once, I didn't get trolled. Anyway, this was a pretty short one. I got to a ramp leading down to some lava where a Shambler was waiting. You'd think this is where I tell you I beat the level, but I got a bit curious and went looking for a secret in the lava. That wasn't my best movement. In a couple more tries I actually got to the end. Interestingly, it was right above the starting area. I imagine for a speedrun you could rocket jump up there to instantly beat the level. Keeping up the momentum, it's on to the Chambers of Torment. My first go was certainly filled with torment. My goodness, I got annihilated by like 10 dudes. By making some dangerous jumps through the lava under the starting area, I could begin this level with a full body armor. There was a secret area and I somehow found a new item this far into the game, the Ring of Shadows. This made my character invisible to enemies. Probably would be a lot more useful in a multiplayer setting. I was low health, but I was being super careful. You know, walking into a room with no vision can be bad. And I got blown up from out of nowhere. I discovered a weird quirk with this game. Not sure if it does this on PC, but these nail launchers stack their volume. So it gets super loud when too many are on the screen at once. Jeez, what was that? Loud enough, game? There were these weird skull buttons on the ground that looked rather ominous. All they did was open the wall to ambush me with some enemies though. Love barely killing a fiend just frames before it pounces on me. So I got to what looked to be the end and started getting hit by explosions. I panicked and ran forward, only for a fiend to spawn in my face and eat me. Oh boy, I sure love dying at the very end of a level. Dude, these Vor projectiles are so unfair sometimes. This thing followed me 180 degrees around a corner. It made an illegal U-turn just to blow me up. Like what the heck, man? The final room's just a complete disaster. The constant explosions are just bouncing me all over the place, and I can't deal with it. I got through by just rushing out there and killing the Vor that was blowing me up. I almost choked it by forgetting about the fiend at the end, but I did make it and obtained a rune. 3 out of 4. There's a bit more lore about how we obtained the rune of heck magic. It's so hot that it burns my hand. Apparently we've broken free from the devil's shackles with this, whatever that means. On to the Tower of Despair. Right away there was a drop that looked to land on some juicy loot, but I wasn't able to reach it. Even when I clearly was lined up with it, I just got shoved out. In fact, there were all kinds of things I wanted locked away just out of reach. I decided to continue on where I found a weird teleport that brought me right back to the start. Also, this water was completely fake. Down that fake water was a new item, the Pentagram of Protection. This seemingly gave me 666 body armor, which I'll gladly take. However, that's not actually how it works. It's just a timed invulnerability, kind of like the quad damage. I wound up shooting this large window at the start, and that was a required secret to open. Glad that didn't take too long to find. Oh, and there was this other secret that wasn't exactly rewarding. 2 ogres just sitting there with the worst AI of all time. No idea how I didn't die. Little did I know, I was about to die anyway. Why do they always want to trick me this much? How did people not rage quit this game back in the day? Just like the one a while ago, I had to bait out the trap first. These idiots didn't repair the broken bar, or this part would be impossible. This one was pretty much a maze. One of the portals brought me to the end. I don't know, dude, I was just lost so bad. The next level is the Elder God Shrine. Right away, there was a room with a quad damage sitting there for free. That's never a good sign. Disappointingly though, there was no insane battle after grabbing it. This next room was very blue, like it's way too dark to tell what's going on. Better than all the brown and gray though. This hallway was incredibly stressful. When too many enemies are there, I can barely tell what's going on, cause turning the camera slightly moves it way too much due to the lag. There were new weird enemies, these flying gray things. They moved way too fast to keep up with too. Then the floor moved out from underneath me. I had just a couple of pixels of clearance or I would have been toast. Anyway, somehow didn't die here, a nice change of pace. Apparently I missed half the enemies in the level too. The Palace of Hate was my next destination. There was a rather suspicious set of stairs in a hallway. Like, they didn't need to be there, and it was clear something useful was under them. Don't worry, I'm still getting wrecked by things out of view. This guy had better lung capacity. Oh. How was I supposed to know a fiend was behind that wall? Or this one that was behind me while I was fighting a shambler? It just never ends. Man, how many times are they going to pull the move past a certain point, pile of enemies appear out of nowhere card? It's just overplayed at this point. Don't mind me, just blasting some fish with a shotgun. I got very lost here, and I eventually found a new path guarded by a guillotine. I tried everything I knew to try, but it just wouldn't drop. Thankfully I didn't die from it hitting me, I guess. From here, I did figure out how to get under that staircase. Fake using the elevator, then going under it. It's so obvious. This one was a slog. 28 minutes to win, nearly every secret and every enemy killed. It certainly felt like the levels were becoming more and more maze-like. Okay, I swear I wrote that last sentence before realizing the next level is called the Pain Maze. That's actually hilarious. It gives you 100 health and quad damage pickup right at the start, so that's not promising. Early on, I found this unholy altar. It told me to shoot it, which spawned a ton of Vors next to me. My god, there's so many enemies in this area. There were somehow new enemies at this point, spawns. They just jump into you and blow themselves up. Well, that sure was fun. Oh, here's a room with like 8 of those spawn things. The damage they do is insane. This really is the Pain Maze. Not to mention how hard it is to actually hit these things. Then there was this room with a Death Knight on an island in the middle. If I jump up there with him, I'll just get whacked with a sword and knocked back in the water. I was dying a lot. Like, a lot. I did find a secret area that let me get on top of the room with the altars, so at least that one was a bit safer. Still didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Honestly, I think this is the hardest level in the entire game. I'm not sure if I was missing something, but yeah. This is only on normal too. I can't imagine it on nightmare. Like, maybe there's a better way to avoid these Vor projectiles. This thing seriously chased me through the entire maze for like 10 seconds. Get out of here, come on. Even when I thought I was getting near the end, it wasn't the end at all. Just felt like there were infinite enemies here, and the place never stopped. I hated this level. Finally, I had a decent run going where I made it far in. I even found a rocket launcher. Yeah, I hadn't found one this entire chapter, so I'd been using the grenade launcher, which is way worse. I swam into a room with another one of those altars. When I shot it, a ton of spawns appeared. Instead of trying to fight them, I just made a run for it. Oh my goodness, screw that level. I thought I was never going to get out. Well, the next one's called Azure Agony, which sure is promising. There was a shambler that appeared literally right at the start, so that's nice. Oh, here's a nice quad damage in a green corner. Ha! Not going to get me with that fake floor. I got to a room with water and I needed to get on top of a ledge, but I just couldn't make the jump. I didn't even notice, but apparently shooting the ceiling revealed a ledge, making it possible. I don't even know what happened here. It said I got spiked, but by what? The stairs? I just want out of this game, man. Anyway, I got a quad damage and a pentagram of protection and sprinted to the end. Apparently there were 9 secrets, but whatever. I was glad to be out. I had obtained all 4 runes now. It gives some lore that I obtained the rune of Elder Magic, the capstone of all things arcane. With this, I could reach the Demon Mother's lair, who wanted to get rid of all life on Earth. We will be remembered as the savior of the planet if we defeat her. Yeah, the story's not the greatest. Well, it was time for the final level of the game. Lucky for me, the game got rid of all my weapons. Why do they do that? I'm just blasting fish with a regular shotgun now. This led to a rather ominous looking red portal with a ton of weapons within. Then there she was, old Shubby herself, the Demon Mother. Along with her, there were like a trillion enemies in this stairway. What the heck, man? Like, there were an absurd amount of things here. It's insane. I decided to just sprint past everything, and there was a portal at the top. This warped me onto the island in the center, but I died pretty quickly. And the next time I went through the portal, it dropped me straight in the lava. Thanks? Why did it take me to 2 different places? Then on another attempt, I unloaded all the ammo I had into the boss, but nothing happened. If it's anything like that first one, then it's more a puzzle. Eventually, I had a super good run where I killed every enemy in the level, and still nothing happened. I just didn't understand how I was supposed to kill the boss. I noticed the teleporter would take me to where this floating thing was at. There literally seemed to be nothing else in the room, so I went in when the floating thing was inside the boss. And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly what you had to do. Apparently this is the devs acknowledging a common trick in old games called telefragging. If you teleport into another player, they just die? I'd never heard of it, so this was quite frustrating to me. I would have won way faster if I knew, but oh well. It had some final lore saying I defeated the boss and had powers greater than all of Quake. ID Software salutes me. Well, thank you for that, but I'm over this game. That's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it. My journey to beating Quake 64. This is a game that changed the FPS genre forever. I thought it had some really cool elements and some really bad ones. The level design was solid and there were a lot of cool enemies too. It seems the game's balanced well with all the weapons having usefulness rather than just spamming the most overpowered one over and over. There's certainly a lot of content too, it's not really a short game. I do wonder how this would go on PC versus this console. The frame rate was quite choppy and it was just impossible to aim properly on the N64. It would have been a cool game to play back in the day if you didn't have a PC though. But I just see no reason to play the N64 version over the modern PC version nowadays. Still though, I enjoyed it despite getting frustrated by how hard it was. I can see why people love this series. I gave it a 7 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 7 out of 10 for difficulty. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Have a sneak peek at the next game. Got 242 games on the list. 3, 2, 1. Go! Sorry, it was delayed. 52. What's that? Oh god. We are playing Daizamon 3D, which is a Japanese game, and I'm sure it's going to be very, very fun. But yeah, if you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. It helps the channel a lot. And if you like this series, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one.